There's a group that's called Cosmic Agency. You'll see the source of their information is down below. It's called SWARU, SWARUU.org. They claim that they are channeling information, and I haven't thoroughly vetted them, although I find a lot of their information to be very credible. They describe a particular star called Taygeta, which you see in yellow, that's outlined in the Pleiades constellation. And the beings that they're in contact with are part of what appears to be a research vessel, which is cloaked and above Earth. I'm sure there's lots of them up there. And the main gal that channels them, her name is Kosia. This is this girl right here, which I'm circling with my cursor. And she's been channeling this information from these beings. It's quite interesting. I highly recommend that you go to their site. And if you go to YouTube, they're under Cosmic Agency. So these are from an advanced beings that are interested in Earth, and the ones that talk to her are from this star Taygeta. And there's an interesting correlation between what they're getting versus what is occurring. In January of 2020, the Federation, which we are presuming is the same thing as the Confederation of Planets of the Law of One, so that's very important. We're assuming the Confederation of Planets and the Federation are the same thing. They told this craft to go into high orbit and leave their low orbit around Earth. That was in January of this year. This is what they report, and they reported to her. So they had to go to 750,000 feet, kilometers, which is well outside of their sensor range. The second thing that they report is the Confederation of Planets, told them that they would be executing large maneuvers and they would be in danger in low orbit. In other words, they were going to do something really big on Earth, and as a result of that, they needed to go into this high orbit. So they were over 2 months in this high orbit, and they wanted to return. They said they were told a few more weeks, and then they defied the Federation. They went into low orbit, and they were basically trailed and tailed by these 2 Alpha Centaurian cruisers that were watching all of their maneuvers as they were doing things. And they were very concerned because the Federation was doing some large maneuvers around in low orbit around the Earth, which was quite significant. They claim, and this is the part that we have to just be careful, this is their speculation. They claim this Confederation of Planets, Federation, sees, this is a direct quote from their channeling, sees the implementation of a single government, a single religion, and a single currency as the only solution to problems and conflicts on Earth. That's quite a claim, but we just got to be careful here. That's their speculation about what they're doing. And of course, we're not interested in getting people to get upset or fearful or whatever. We're just simply reporting what they said as part of these maneuvers. They claimed that the Federation wanted to lock up those on Earth without them being able to leave, in order that our disorder does not contaminate or spread into the cosmos. So that's a very interesting statement. What is it about what's going on Earth that they do not want to contaminate or spread into the cosmos that would cause them to send a fleet of craft here in order to contain it? And this leads into the highly provocative statement that is made by them. And remember, they have history that goes back millions of years. What we see from here is that the Federation traffic of ships to Earth and from Earth is historically the highest of all time. So while we've been thinking about COVID and about, whether Donald Trump wears a toupee or not, or what Kim Kardashian is wearing during the COVID crisis, they claim that this is going on in orbit around our Earth. Now, this is quite a provocative claim, and it certainly does get you thinking about what may be happening. So what I'm going to show you are a series of videos that are on YouTube, which are not commonly watched. In this case, unfortunately, this guy says Web of Conspiracies. That's an unfortunate choice for his channel, but that's his choice. And this is recorded on March the 30th, 2020. And I want to, I'll play this for you. And this is the camera feed from the International Space Station. So the International Space Station is orbiting the Earth, and it's taking video feeds 24 hours a day. If you happen to catch it, you can turn the record button on and record the video feed that's coming from the International Space Station. And this particular individual was able to capture this on March the 30th. And I'm just going to play it for you now. And what you'll be able to see as this goes on is you'll be able to see the movements from space of a bunch of light dots that are moving towards Earth, because this is pointed in space. Now, one of the claims that's made is that this is information is fake or bogus, even though credible watchers of this information have said no, that's not the case. If you look at, you'll see some bright objects there that are fixed. Those are called fixed stars, and the reason they're fixed is because they're so far out in space. So relative to the movement of the International Space Station, because remember, it's moving around the Earth, those stars or bodies are not moving. And so these lights are moving in the background behind or in front of these fixed stars, which are at such a far distance that they don't appear to move. So one of the things that some people have said is that this is space debris. And I guess all we could say is space debris appears to move in formation, which is obviously quite interesting. So we'll just let this play out to the end, but you can see that whatever that is that's on the International Space Station is moving at there's quite a lot of them, and they are of course moving towards Earth. And isn't it interesting that they are? Okay, so let's go to the next one. Now, one of the things that is claimed is that we're looking at these Elon Musk's Starlink satellites, and I just want to show you that this is not the case. This is another thing that people claim it might be, but this is from a video that's taken from Earth looking up at the Starlink satellites, and it's a sped up version of what the satellites look like when they appear on the horizon. When you look at it, can you notice that what you're seeing is basically what looks like a necklace or a string of beads of lights? They're all going along a line, which is referred to in geometry as an arc, and this arc is very linear and it's moving in a particular direction. Note also that what you're looking at doesn't look anything at all like the thing that we were looking at previously, which is in a formation, but it's clearly not in a line or in any sort of geometric pattern at all, like you see here when you're looking at this. So we'll just let this play itself out, and that's what the Starlink satellites that we launched, or SpaceX launched, and this was recorded in April the 19th of 2020. Now, the next one that I want to show you is one that was recorded on May the 12th, and the point I want to make with this, which was recorded by someone called True Brit, this is another example of this whole feature of what I'm talking about. And that is that what this individual is doing is they just happen to have caught this. They turned on the video record button on that while they were watching the International Space Station feed. And what he says is, I captured this apparent fleet of UFOs rising en masse from the Earth. These are moving from the Earth. So these are moving in the opposite direction. And you'll also notice that he says that we were just about to go into sunrise. So that bright object on the right is part of the space station, which is lit up because it's just glowing. And you'll begin to see, as the video goes forward, the shape of the Earth, which is also going to appear on the right as we go into cosmic sunrise. So let's just play this one, and we'll let you see what this looks like as it goes forward. Oh, hold on. So you can see that the craft are slowly receding in some form of formation, and there's an awful lot of them moving away from the Earth. You know, why they're moving away from the Earth and what these objects obviously are is difficult to know or understand completely, but we can certainly see that there's some sort of major activity of these objects which are flying in formation. You'll notice in the background you can see the fixed stars which are blinking. Those are the stars at a very far distance that are able to show you that this is, you know, these things are obviously moving in relation to those background stars. And as the video increases, you're going to start to see the form of the Earth begin to show as you start getting into sunrise on the Earth, and you'll see the form of the Earth, and there's the form of the Earth as the space station begins to move into sunrise. Okay, now in this next video is based on a Spanish video, and this is the one that was very highly vetted and considered in the past, and we're going to point to this because it refers to the original Spanish videos. And they noted that Gordon McKenna, who's a very active watcher of this activity, reported this on April the 2nd on his video feed, and once again he's considered to be a credible source for these things, and of course he's seen the same thing as well. This was recorded April the 16th, and we'll watch and see what they have to say in this one. So this video was actually taking the video feed from a Spanish video that was recorded on April the 3rd, and you can see there's an absolutely massive number of objects that are moving in waves upon waves coming towards the Earth. And in some cases, some of them were leaving the Earth, as you saw. Now, mind you, this is not being reported in any media outlets of any kind, But it certainly does appear to validate what these Taygetans were saying, which is a massive operation that was basically started by the Federation to do this. Now, this is a screen capture from this particular YouTube video, and I want you to note that this has been viewed, the Spanish video, by 2.565 million people as of September the 1st. So an awful lot of people in the Spanish or Latin part of the world are recording this, because apparently these UFOs are coming in on the southern hemisphere, and they're seeing them predominantly in Latin American countries, which of course are Spanish speaking. And so the reason there's so much interest is a lot of these Latin American countries like Bolivia, Uruguay, people are seeing these UFOs all over the place. They're seeing them in the night sky, and that's the reason why there's so many hits, is because this validates the things that they're starting to see. Now, in the last part of this, I would like to shift to a series of 3 books that we introduced in our last video, which we're going to call the Burgess Trilogy, after Jürgen Burgess, who is the author. The first is called The Collections, the second is called The Galactic Renewal, and the third is called The Ways of the King. And they are purported to represent the things said by Yahweh, which is the God of the Bible, to these extraterrestrial beings, which are in aggregate and collectively referred to in these books as non-Earth beings described as cat and spindly creature. So they're consistently referred to as cat and spindly creature. The first book, The Collections, is something that's equivalent or similar to the books of Moses of the Bible. The Galactic Renewal is something similar to our Proverbs and Psalms. And the Ways of the King are the establishments of future kingdoms that will be called kingdoms of Yahweh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read for you the 2 extracts from 2 of these books. One's the Galactic Renewal and the other one's the Ways of the King, which are very interesting in how they describe some of the activities that may occur. There's an excerpt in page 141 called A Declaration of Cause, and I'm going to read this for you. And these 2 pages will conclude our video. To the leaders of the races of the cat and spindly creature, these are non-Earth beings. During many generations of the heavens and the earth, the peoples of many stars have spread their teachings through many generations. These ways have been accepted and modified, and their teachings have remained. Some races have required all those who remain alive in their territories to follow their teachings, and to teach otherwise is not permitted. This I will not tolerate on this earth, that I will inhabit and glorify. I will teach among your races a people I will call to me. At first they will be few, and soon they will be many. They will join in fellowship with the people of my earth, and they will become one family. Their souls will travel together with me in places of my choosing. You shall not restrict this activity, for their souls are their own and are no longer yours to direct. I have shown you my power in the days of my servant Moses in the land of Egypt. Study these days, and you will see me there. When you attack my people, I will not respond to you, and I will withdraw the energies of life from your peoples who have rejected me. When you cry for mercy, I will not hear you. I ask that you leave my people and let them abide with me, for if you do not, I will strike out at you, and I will not relent. I do not resist you because of what you have done. I have forgiven all things, and there is no judgment in what I will do. It is to my people that I turn and that I protect. It is for their sake I make this declaration. Let my people among your races freely choose, and I will bless all of your races in their toleration. They will follow your laws so long as they do not violate my laws. But if you oppress my people among your races, I will oppress you. Your energies of life will flow indistinctly, and their interruption will be your ruin. I will rewrite the logos that are the wellspring of life, and I will write energies of defiance against you. This is my declaration. Its fulfillment is certain. And in the ways of the king, it describes the military of the cat and spindly creature. Long ago, the gods of your creation taught you the ways of military force. You created rules for the use of your forces, and they obeyed your whims. These powers grew, and as you infiltrated the regions beyond your world, greater military power was encountered. But you conquered and learned greater ways to separate body from soul. But you left your subject souls naked, so you dressed them in new apparel, until once again they were soiled with uncleanness. You created the holy ways of your gods, and they purified what could be purified. But death stalks your military forces, and glory escapes them. Is their glory not your glory? So you have taught your peoples the glory of your kingdoms you have made, and their souls gather in places of their choosing, of your choosing, and they march in formation according to the causes your kings invent. Such great destruction you have witnessed, and Yahweh your Father has watched you and your kings. He shakes his head and he wags his finger, but he does not help you because you do not ask him. And now the power of your ascended masters are great. Your subjects call them Lord, and Yahweh has called them Baal. For they are subjects of death in the realms of Satan's kingdoms. So you come to Yahweh's earth and bring your military here. But Yahweh has ended Satan's kingdoms here. So be wise, kings of the cats and spindly creatures. Your energies of life will flow indistinctly, and their interruption will be your ruin, because Yahweh will write energies of defiance against you. So, I propose an alternate description of what's going on. Many of the ancient texts talk about the times that we're living in, and in this time we see Yahweh standing up for his people on this earth, and also among the his galactic creation, which is among the non-earth beings as well. So is it possible that we are on the cusp of something which has been prophesied and has been predicted for many ages, which is going to be the beginning of an incredible period for this earth of the God of the Bible, Yahweh, establishing his kingdoms on this earth, his kingdom on this earth, and this is the opening acts of what we're about to see. And that is all I have to present for you this evening.